Hello, wonderful ladies, gentlemen, queens, kings, I like to call it, but most importantly, leaders. How are you guys doing today? It is your host, Natasha B. Russell. I'm super excited to be sharing with you today Strategize for Your Success. Now, what is it all about? You're going to find out very soon, but I'm really keen on sharing strategies to help us achieve our goals and our dreams. It's a new year. We're literally, the month is almost over. Can you believe it? And so I find that around this time, we sort of get those January blues, and I want to keep us motivated to achieve those big goals and dreams that we set for ourselves. So let's get started. And I would love to hear who's out there listening. Tell me where you're from. Put in the comment section. I'm super excited. This is my first live for Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So be sure to tell me where you're from. I'm personally from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, for anybody who's been here. But I'd love to hear where you're from and what's one thing or one main goal that you want to achieve. You got some background music. Yes. Anybody who knows me knows I love music. And I do believe that music really helps elevate your mood. And that's super important, right? Your mindset. Today, we're going to talk a lot about strategies. So confidence, mindset, SMART goals, resiliency, how to be resilient, especially in an ever-changing environment. And so join me as I take you on a journey to one of my favorite presentations. Again, Strategize for Your Success. So let me change the view so you guys can all get a full view of the presentation. All right, here we go. So strategies for your success. Again, am Natasha B. Russell, aka NBR, aka Mrs. Darby. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I got married literally just a few months ago, October 2nd, 2021. It feels like just yesterday, but yet time is flying. And I'm really on a mission to, and I'll talk a little bit about more of this in my presentation, but to inspire, to motivate, to empower people like you, human beings all around the world, to truly believe in yourself and your potential, and most importantly, to fulfill your God-given purpose and achieve those big goals and dreams with confidence. So stay connected with me. My website, I do offer free coaching sessions. Well, a complimentary session at natashabrussell.com. 30 minutes for us to get together and chat. And you're going to be like, well, why? I'm going to tell you why that's so important to have a strategist as your tool in your toolbox to help you get to those goals and those dreams. All right. So first, it's titled Strategize for Your Success. Why? Because I believe everybody wants to be successful, right? Everybody's told to potentially, go to school, get a degree or a certificate or some trade of some sort, and to make a really good living, and then to have a family, and then, potentially travel once or twice a year, depending on your availability and that sort of life. But I believe that there's so much more to life. I believe that we all have a purpose. We definitely do. There was a reason why you were born. There's a reason why I was born. And when we start living our lives with purpose, with confidence, with clarity, our life takes on greater meaning. It becomes more fulfilling. And that's what life's about. At least in my opinion. I'd like to hear what you think, but it's definitely about being fulfilled. And one thing I've realized, because we define success in many ways, but usually it's monetary and materialistic things. I want to invite you, before we even dig into this presentation, to define success for yourself. What does success mean to you? And why is that so important that you achieve that level of success? I think we can all relate to this. When you've achieved a certain milestone, maybe, if you're looking back, graduating from school or getting that promotion or that beautiful home and that fancy car, you felt great, right? You were super excited. But how long did that last? That moment of joy and happiness, if you want to call it that in quotes, happiness, right? Because I do believe happiness is long standing. It's not momentarily. It doesn't last that long. It may be days, it may be weeks, maybe even months. And so the first thing is super important is to define success for yourself. What does success mean to you? And I mean, don't look at what someone else is doing or your friends or your family or even what your friends or your family are telling you to do to be successful. Because what I find through coaching a lot of very successful people who don't even think they really are, they got the really nice corporate job, or they've achieved the nice cars, the beautiful dream home, the family, and yet they're not satisfied, is because it wasn't for them. And so if you want to be truly successful, I believe that means that you are happy with your level of success, whatever that may mean to you. It may be having that family and a beautiful home and a nice car, but more importantly, you have maybe more time to spend with your family, more time to travel, more time to do philanthropy work, to help your community. You need to define success for yourself, and that's the most important thing. If anything today, get your notebook and start thinking, what does success really mean to me? What does success look like for me? And we're going to dig into how to achieve that level of success. All right, so a bit about me. Who am I? And as you might know, I use I am statements. I believe in the power of I am. I'm a Christian. I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. I went to church with my parents. They weren't religious, but I definitely had that foundation. And at 11, I remember going to church and accepting Christ in my heart. And it was actually like one of the most life-changing moments for me. Why? Because at that time in my life, I was struggling a lot with my confidence. And when I came and I went to church and I heard the pastor say, "You are perfectly and wonderfully made," that we were all fearfully, shall I say, fearfully and wonderfully made, that stuck with me. I was like, wait a minute. I literally had a mindset shift at 11. And it was from there that seed was planted. I remember coming with my Bible. I was so excited, saying Bible scriptures, but it was from there that mindset shift took place. And from there, I started to feed myself positive messages. And I remember, growing up, I was always, I started to work in corporate. I'd always send out quotes, positive quotes. You come to my desk, you'd see positive quotes everywhere. And that really is who I am. I'm all about positivity, setting positive energy and love and light out there to this world. And I do believe that each and every one of us, we're going to get into that, does have a purpose. So I'm a Christian, I'm a leader, definitely. And I believe in creating other leaders. And I believe that we are all leaders in our own right. I don't believe that you need to have a title to say that you're a leader. You are a leader in your own right. I'm a mom. That little girl right there is my beautiful little princess Natalia. And I was a single mom up until last year where I got married. So for all my single moms out there or singles out there, I want you to know that your time is coming. That if you really want a partner and you pray about it and you believe it, at the right time, your partner will arrive. The key is to hold on and keep the faith. I'm definitely obviously a wife to my lovely husband, Mr. Darby. We got married again, like I said, October 2nd, 2021. I'm a daughter. That photo over there is my parents, my mom and my dad. They're originally from Jamaica. So I'll talk a little about that. I got that Jamaican Canadian mix for sure. I'm a sister. My lovely sister's right there, Shanice and Tiana. And I have multiple other sisters, but they're not in this photo, unfortunately, because they're all over the world. I'm a cousin. My cousin's right there. I'm a friend. My dear friend Christy, my bestie from way back. I'm educated. I definitely take education seriously. I'm a philanthropist because I believe in giving. I really do. And I've spent a lot of my time seeing how I can help others, the youth, the community, through my skills and my abilities. I am an entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur, took the leap, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But most importantly, I'm purpose driven. I am purpose driven. Everything that I do, well, not everything, well, up until now, but maybe I think I realized my purpose in my late 20s, early 30s. It was really like firm for me. I'm like, I know that I was born for something great. I was born to share that positivity. And so each and every one of you, I believe if you lead your life with purpose, like I said, purpose, confidence, and clarity, it makes a difference. It really does. It will allow you to be fulfilled. Because a lot of times we hear that saying, oh, happiness comes from money and monetary things. Yes, money helps you to buy things and it gives you convenience, but money doesn't give you fulfillment, so to speak. Money helps you to get the things you need. And I've met so many people who have so much money and yet they're so unfulfilled. So I want you to know that no matter where you are, no matter what you have, as I mentioned in the first slide, success is dependent on you. You define it for yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what success is. You define it. So now you know a little bit more about me on a personal level. I'm also a speaker. Should have probably put that down. I am a transformational speaker. How did I miss that one, right? But I do host events to empower men and women to realize your potential. Like, I think if we spent more time thinking, looking at within, like what we bring to the table, we would have less time to look at whomever because we'd be super focused on what we bring to the table. And so I host events to empower men and women to really believe in yourself, your God-given purpose, and to again go after those goals and their dreams. So I do 3 workshops. I actually just did my first Rise Up leadership seminar last December 2021. It was amazing, and definitely will be hosting that again this year. But communicate with confidence, strategize for your success, and transform your health are the 3 keynotes presentations that I do. So now that you know a little bit about me, who are you? I want to learn about you. Who are you? Where are you from? What are your big goals and your dreams? We're going to talk about that. You know, when we define ourselves, I think it's so important to define ourselves more than just our jobs because we're more than that. I think it's important to define ourselves by our natural talents, skills and abilities, our heart, our drive. And so when you're able to really look within yourself and say, "Hey, wait a minute, who am I?" And more importantly, who am I becoming? Who are you becoming is what really matters. And I think at times, for many of us, we've experienced some setbacks. Setbacks is inevitable, challenges are inevitable. But I believe that every challenge comes to make you stronger. Every challenge in your life serves a purpose. Now, you may not believe that depending on where you are in your life right now. But once you get through that hurdle and you jump over that hoop, you're going to be able to look back and say, "Hey, wait a minute. That wasn't in vain, that I learned something from it." And that's really the key. If we can learn from the challenges that we've been through or the things we're going through and apply that to our present state, we are going to be so much more wiser. And we're going to be so much clearer on the things we need to achieve our levels of success. And I'll talk a little bit about that clarity and how to get to clarity. So, who are you? If you're walking around this world, don't let the world define you. We look at social media, we see what the definition of beauty looks like or should look like. No, I do not agree with that. And we know that most of those things out there are airbrushed. It's unrealistic. I want you to be able to say, "Hey, I love me for me. I was created fearfully and wonderfully." But more importantly, digging into who are you and who are you becoming. So what's my story? Like I mentioned a little bit before, I'll just go over this slide. Was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. So this is home for me. My parents are from Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica every year up until COVID hit. I would go there and travel with family, with friends. It's like my second home. I love it. If you've never been to Jamaica, you definitely need to go because the food is great, the people are lovely, the vibe is nice, the ocean, the beaches. Oh, it could just go on. The food, did I say the food already? The food is lovely. So I would like to invite you to think if you're going to travel somewhere, visit Jamaica. And if you need some tips on where to go and things to do, feel free to send me a note. I also, like I said, I am educated. I do believe in education. Before I even started working in corporate communications, I was a paralegal. I came out of high school knowing that I wanted to get into the office. I was told, "You know what, Natasha, you're too young. You don't have enough experience. You don't even have a legal assistant certificate." But what did I have? I had confidence. And did I always have confidence? No, absolutely not. I told you at 11, I went to church, and that was where I had my mindset shift because I struggled so much with my self esteem, with my confidence that at times I didn't really feel like I was worth much, like I was beautiful. I had a very rare illness. You know, I never used to really talk about it, but it was like epilepsy of the mouth only. Can you imagine when you go to speak, you couldn't speak? But thank God I'm healed. I had like seizures of the mouth only, but I was bullied as a child because I had to wear that bracelet. And so again, it really hurt my confidence. It really made me feel like I wasn't enough or something was wrong with me. I was flawed. But once I was able to look beyond that and have that mindset shift at 11, I started to look at myself differently. It began, I started a journey to self-discovery. And I believe we're always discovering more and more about ourselves, and so once I overcame that hurdle and I was on these very rare drugs, prescription drugs, and about 2 years I gained a lot of weight as a result, but I was cured, I was healed, I was grateful. I had to really learn to love myself, fall in love with me for who I was, all my curves, all my imperfections, and start to see myself as imperfectly perfect. And so if you're out there and you're listening, you're saying, you know what, I feel flawed. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'll be better when I achieve this, or I'll be better when I look like this. I want you to know that is such, uh, it's not the right way to think. It's not the right way to think. That thinking will damage you not only now, but in years to come. And you'll be wondering, why is my life in the same trajectory, the same circle? Because your mind, your thoughts. So I want you to know that you were perfectly made, that there's no flaws. And I know at times it can be hard when, like I said, socially you're seeing all these things, but once you dig into who you are and you hold that power, I believe without a doubt, you'll grow in leaps and bounds. And the things that you used to think were flaws, you'll actually see that those are the things that make you unique and make you beautiful or handsome, shall I say, out there for the men. So certifications. I worked in legal for several years at a really great firm, several firms, but for a long stint of time, maybe almost 7, 8 years, Bennett Jones in Calgary, loved it, loved the people, loved the challenge, and then I decided, you know what, I got to go back to school. I don't know if I want to be a lawyer, but I know I want to do something great. I know I love people. I love shedding positive. Like I said, I was the girl that was putting out quotes every day, you know? So I knew that I really wanted to be working with people. And so at that time, I went back to MRU and I applied for three other programs, believe it or not. It was the communications, journalism, and broadcasting. And I got accepted into all three, thank God. But I decided to go with the PR route. So I believe that if I went in the PR route, I would really achieve a lot more. I'd open a lot more doors. And so that was the route I went. I started to work with really great large oil energy companies at doing corporate communications, media relations, stakeholder relations, social media management, crisis and risk communication, you name it. I loved it all. And I just knew I went and I did everything my parents said, go get a good education, get a good job, get a house. And I still didn't feel fulfilled. And that's when I knew something was missing. That's when I knew I wanted to take the leap into entrepreneurship. And so I did that full time in September 2018. Wow, time's flying. Yes. And has it been easy? No. But is it fulfilling? Yes. Because every day I wake up saying, whose life can I change today? Whose life can I impact today? And I believe that we all start our days with thinking about how can we make a positive impact? Again, that fulfillment factor will come. So, crisis risk communications, I have a list of certifications. I won't go through them, they're there, but I love to volunteer. I love to volunteer. I volunteer at the Kids Help Phone every year in their communications role for their Walk So Kids Can Talk campaign. Obviously, with COVID, we've been doing a lot of online campaigns, run-a-thons, marathons, fundraising. I am also a United Way Leader Ambassador, and I just asked to join the United Way Women United. So I'm really excited to be a part of that team. Wonderful women leaders I'll be meeting next month in February. I am also a mentor at the Calgary Black Chambers and their strategic advisor. I love the youth, so mentoring youth, and I've always been doing some form of mentorship from I can remember, really means a lot to me. I'm also a mentor with Futurepreneur. What is that? It's for anyone who owns their own business or who's thinking of starting their own entrepreneurial journey. I am a marketing strategist with them, and I have been for several years. Funny enough, I don't like marketing, but I help a lot of companies market their business, their services, and their products, and they do really well. So if there's something you're struggling with, we'll definitely chat about that. And last but not least, I am the strategic advisor for Southeast Hope Assembly. It's a wonderful church in Calgary, Alberta. If you ever want to come to a church and you don't have a church home, I invite you to come and attend. We are still attending in person, of course, COVID friendly, given the maximum restrictions, a very big space. So I'd love to see you come out. All right, enough about me. Now that that's over, let's focus on you. So everything starts with a purpose. Everything, I believe, serves a purpose. We're going to dig into that. And I want you to start thinking about your purpose because you have one. And it's amazing. And when you find it, I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to repeat myself. When you find your purpose, you find your life. So start with purpose. So, what's your purpose? Purpose, I like definitions. So, your purpose, the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. I honestly believe this, and I know this from personal experiences and seeing others who are walking in their purpose. When you find your purpose, you find your life. Live on purpose, live with meaning, with intentionality. Live knowing that what you're doing is making an impact. And I know this question can be hard to answer at times. Like, I don't know what my purpose is. And I've been asked that question. Well, how do I find my purpose, Natasha? I don't really know what to do. And at first I started to say, you know what? Make a list of all the things that you really enjoy and pay attention to what lifts your energy, what gives you energy, and what doesn't, what drains your energy. Stay away from the things that drain your energy. But for the things that give you energy, that shows that you're in alignment, you're in the right space. And whatever that may look like, that can be your purpose. Now, how do you truly find your purpose? Like I said, I'm all about helping you find your God given purpose. I believe we find our purpose in Christ. Pray about it. Pray about it. Why am I here, God? I want to know. Show me a sign. Speak to me. I want to hear your voice. It sounds crazy, but it works. I was just thinking today, I was reflecting, like, wait a minute. At 11, I came home and I accepted Christ into my heart. At 11, I was still a little girl. I was just so filled with just this positive energy. And I was coming in, I was reading the Bible, and I was walking in my room. I was so excited. Like, I just found, like, wow, I found finally something to help with that pain I was feeling inside of feeling like I wasn't good enough. And who knew then, like now, I would be a speaker, I would be coaching people, I would be helping people to build their brand and doing communication when there's a time when I couldn't even communicate. So sometimes our purpose could be things that were challenging us in our past, and that's a part of our story. So again, when you find your purpose, you find your life, take some time to think about what is my purpose? Because again, it's going to help you to lead your life in a way that's going to guarantee that you're fulfilled in every way. So my purpose, it took me a while, like I said, to get this late 20s, early 30s to really define this. I was born to speak. I was born to speak, to inspire, to motivate, to empower you, people around the world, as many human beings as possible to truly believe in your God-given purpose, to gain confidence and to achieve those goals and those dreams, you know? And when I think about that on a bigger scale, I'm like, wow, but if I can impact one person today, that's a job well done. And so that's why I live my life. How can I help even one person today? That's a job well done. And you think about what's my why, because that's important. We're going to talk about it. That's your why is what's going to drive you. My why is the fact that I believe the more of us who are walking in our purpose, living happier, healthier, wealthier lives, the less crime, the less suicide, the less depression, the less poverty, the less crime, bullying will occur because we're walking our purpose. We're happier, we're healthier, wealthier. So that's my big why. What's yours? So let's talk a little bit about vision because everything begins with the vision. Once you know your purpose, and even if you don't know your purpose, still walk it out, live it out. It'll come. Pray about it. What is your vision? What is your big, grandiose vision that you sit back and you're like, wow, if only I could have this, or if only I could achieve this? Well, I want to tell you today, you can have it. It may not happen overnight, that's for sure. Everything that I've achieved in my life thus far, the first home, the second home, education to the next level, climbing corporate, to building my family, meeting my husband, has my business, my entrepreneurial, like my philanthropy, my ability to help others has all come from creating my vision and thinking about what do I want to achieve this year, next year, and creating a vision board. So I love quotes, and this is one of my favorite ones. A vision is not just a picture of what could be. It is an appeal to our better selves, a call to become something more. Isn't that beautiful? A vision is not just a picture of what could be. It is an appeal to our better selves, a call to become something more. What do you want to achieve? What do you sit back and reminisce and think about? I encourage you to create it on a vision board. And what's a vision board? It's something as simple as a white piece of paper, a white piece of cardboard from the dollar store, Dollar Tree, Dollar Round, wherever you may be, and you get photos that represent what you want to see in your life physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, from an education perspective, career, travel, relationships. Relationship with self, very important, and relationship with others. And then you map it out. You map it out on your whiteboard and you put that vision board in front of your for me, it's on my wall. So the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning. And for you, it should be the first thing that you see when you wake up in your morning. Why? Because that's going to drive you. When you feel like giving up, that's going to keep you motivated. So again, like I said, it all starts with a vision, followed by planning. You need a plan, execute with persistence, crystallized by purpose and patience. So what is your vision? Think about it. Map it out. And it's compiled usually of your goals. So what are those goals you want to achieve? Let's talk a little bit about that. How do you figure out your goals? I think it's super important to be clear about what you want to achieve. Going back to success, right? Strategies for your success, be clear. I want to achieve these goals because what? And I want to focus on a 90-day strategy. And when I say this, a lot of us, we have several goals for the year. We want to achieve multiple things in 2022. But I want to encourage you to think about your top 3 goals. And you focus on conquering one major goal at a time. That way you don't get burnt out. So you want to think about, what do you really want? And these are the questions, the clarity questions I ask for you. They're not on the slide, so I encourage you to write it down, because clarity, one thing I know for sure, will save you time, it'll save you money, and it'll save you resources. So one, what do you want? What do you really, really want? You got to be super clear about this. You can't be wavering, because like God says, he cannot bless a wavering man. You got to be super clear about what you want. What do I want? Second question, why do I want it? Why do I want it? Third, what will having this do for me? What will having this do for me? And this is the bonus question. What's really stopping you? What's truly stopping you? So what do I want? Why do I want it? What will having this do for me? And what's truly stopping me? Write it down. I'm telling you, when I started my business at first, I was like, oh, I want to help everybody. I had to narrow it down to really entrepreneurs, corporations, and non-for-profits, just with strategic planning and teaching seminars around communications, confidence, and mindset. Because if I wanted to do it all, there's no way. So it's super important to be clear, because if not, you spend a lot of money trying to market to several audiences and it's not effective. And the funny thing is, I knew the rule. I knew the marketing rule. If you market to everyone, you're marketing to nobody. So you gotta be super clear about your messaging and your brand and who you want to really reach. And if I were to sum up my brand in one word, it'd be confidence. You got to be confident in who you are, because by being confident, you're able to go after those goals and those dreams. So let's talk about SMART goals. So what goals do you want to achieve in 2022? It's important to be SMART in the sense of specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So for example, a quick SMART goal is, I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle by August 15th, 2022. It's very specific. It's measurable. You're able to tell if you've gained 10 pounds or not. It's attainable. 10 pounds of muscle in less than a year. Very doable. So it's realistic. And then you add the date, because without a date, it's just a wish. And that is important. So you got to start thinking about my goals and translating them into SMART goals. Then you got to think about your why. This is so important. So once you've done all your goal setting and you've wrote down all the things you want to achieve this year, take a moment to think about, what is my why? What is your why? And I think about this in a deeper level. What is your why beneath your why? So remember, I said, I really was born to, I love to inspire, motivate, empower, but why? I want to help save people from suicide, depression, poverty, crime. What is your driving factor? Because there's going to come many times where you're going to feel like, you know what? I'm going to give up on this muscle. I don't want to go in the gym. I'm not getting enough rest. I don't want to really eat healthy, whatever. You got to have that why beneath your why. That's going to drive you. Because once you have that, you're going to be able to move forward, knowing that, okay, maybe I didn't achieve what I want to do today. Maybe I fell off, which is totally fine, but I'm going to keep going. And as I mentioned, a goal without a plan, and you've heard this quote before, is just a wish. So you have to have that mindset. We're going to talk about that, is that you can achieve those goals and those dreams. That if you think about it, I always say, if I can conceive the thought, then that means I can make that thought a reality. Everything that we are using, tools, resources, experiencing now in this world, is a result of someone's thought. And they took their thought and they made it a reality. So it's so important to think greater than time, greater than space, greater than your environment. Sit down and meditate and think, if I had no roadblocks, no challenges, what would I look like? What could I do? And when you develop that mindset of resourcefulness, of thinking outside the box, many call it, but I say greater than time, space in your environment, you're able to see how you, and I believe with God, all things are possible to make that goal a reality. I believe there's only so much we can do on our own. We definitely need a community, and we need my source is God and Jesus Christ, knowing that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's what keeps me motivated, and that's what helps me to keep going when I feel like, giving up. So, tactics. This is what this is really is. What actions will you take? It is so important. Research proves that you're 96% more likely to achieve a desired outcome by one, defining it, two, putting it on paper, like physically writing it down, and three, sharing it with somebody, have an accountability partner. 96% more likely to achieve that desired outcome. So it's super important to write your goals. Every year I remember when I was like in my early 20s, I was getting ready to go back to school, thinking about going back to school. I was still working in legal and then was good. Money was good. I was still, young. I was just getting ready to buy my first condo and it was exciting. And I was like, you know what? I need to think about other goals. I started to write it down. And I started to work on my vision board. And funny thing is, my vision board I mentioned, and before it wasn't visual, it was all words. And then I realized that's not the effective way to do it because when your vision is visual, you're able to use your subconscious mind because there is research that proves that there is power in your subconscious mind. And so there's a really great book out there I'd love to invite you to read if you haven't read it. It's called The Purpose, not The Purpose Driven Life. That's a good one too. But this one's called the Power of Your Subconscious Mind. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And there's an updated version as well, which I just bought the other day as well. And I have all my clients read it chapter by chapter, meaning read one chapter and then apply it. Don't just try to be like, I want to read the whole book. Read one chapter and then apply it. So write your goals down. I know sometimes the best of us like, yeah, we're gonna achieve this. We don't need to write a goal down. We're just gonna do it, and then we fall off, and then we like, oh, well, wait again till next year, or when something happens, or we get some kind of, um, I don't know, aha moment, like, okay, let's do this again. But it's super important for you to write it down. Take your notepad. It doesn't be anything fancy. Write it down. So let's talk a little about some high level secrets to success. I didn't want to go into too many things in this presentation because I do find if you throw too much data, too much information, it'll go over your head. And so I'm really about just some short, succinct things that are going to help you to achieve great levels of success. Again, according to your own standards. So the first thing, believing in yourself is the first secret to success. Believing in you. Confidence. You got to know who you are. You got to believe that anything is possible as long as you believe. So, like I said, whatever your mind can conceive, you better believe it can achieve it. So, you got to really start thinking greater than yourself. God created me. I was created in his image. I'm perfectly, fearfully, wonderfully made. And if I'm connected to the source, then I can do anything. Like I said, my favorite quote, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I have a lot. Philippians 4, verse 13 from the Bible, for those of you who are probably wondering or who know. I have many other favorite quotes, but the first step to success is believing in yourself. It's confidence. And no, I'm not talking about arrogance where you think you're the best and I'm good at this and you're not great. No, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about confidence, knowing who you are. And so, what is confidence? Again, it's accepting yourself for who you are. Your flaws, which I consider not, you're imperfectly perfect. It's knowing that you're imperfectly perfect. It's believing in your abilities, your capabilities, your talent. It's believing that you can learn anything. You can achieve anything with hard work and dedication and focus. So confidence is about loving yourself unapologetically. And because you love yourself unapologetically, that means it gives you the ability to love others unconditionally. So once you can conditionally love yourself, then you can extend that to other people. So when you think about how do you build confidence, sometimes I get asked that question, how do you build it? Really, confidence is a muscle. So the more that you work on that muscle and you build it little by little, it'll get stronger and stronger. And so are you applauding yourself for the good things you're doing? Are you always down on yourself? Are you always critical of yourself? It's so important to start with just the positive affirmations, I say. So for example, one could be like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I love it. It's true. But the thing about affirmations, I've heard this a lot. Oh, just tell yourself anything that's positive and you'll believe it. You have to start with affirmation that you actually believe to be true. So it may be something is like, I know I'm funny. I am funny. I am smart. I am unique, whatever it may be. And you start to build it by looking in the mirror, building on your confidence by telling yourself these positive affirmations. Another thing is by saying, I'm going to do something like this live today. I had so many technical things that were going wrong, but I was like, I'm still getting on this live and I'm still doing it because I'm committing to myself. I could have just said, you know what, I just won't go on, and if no one notices, no one notices, or if but I would notice. So a big part of that is being committed to yourself and being committed to your goals. So by you build your confidence by doing the things you say you're gonna do. Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym today, or I'm gonna really drink 8 glasses of water, or I'm gonna get to bed early. Every time you break a commitment to yourself, I do believe that hurts your confidence. It hurts your self-esteem. Because if you can't keep a promise to yourself, but you keep it to everybody else, then what are you actually doing? I think that's a level of self-sabotage. And we don't want to do that. So the last thing to think about, well, not last, I have another slide because confidence is so important. And again, it's a skill set that anybody can build. Again, it's loving you for who you are unapologetically. It's saying, I don't really care what people think about me. All I care is what do I think about me? What does God think about me? Am I living my life respectfully and treating others with love and respect? Again, loving yourself, loving others. And why is this so important? Because a lot of times we don't, my God, if I were to, I've watched so many videos and read so many books. Confidence is super important because if you don't love yourself and you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. No one else will. And a part of confidence is how you present yourself. It's how you communicate verbally, non-verbally, but it is critical. I mean, it is critical to your success as a human being, as an entrepreneur, as a career-driven individual, as a partner, whatever role, if you don't love yourself, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for you to achieve certain levels of success. And then the funny thing is, when you achieve it, you won't even be satisfied again because you're not even really fulfilled. You maybe I've heard the thing fake it till you make it. I don't really believe in that. I believe in being honest and authentic with yourself, celebrating where you are, and being excited and being grateful for who you're becoming. So it's a process. So, yes, be confident in who you are and who God created you to be. I can't tell you, I think we live in a world where so many of us feel like we're not good enough, that we're sometimes feeling insignificant. There's so many things. Like the one thing I hear a common thread when I'm talking to someone or coaching somebody, the fear of what other people think. Fear of what other people think is like the trend. I'm afraid to do this because I'm afraid what will this person say about me? I'm afraid to put myself out here and try this business or try a live or put a video out or start my own whatever because I'm afraid of what other people may think. I used to be that girl. Oh my gosh. I was that girl that wanted to please dad. He'd be like, "Oh, 97% Natasha, but where's the other 3%?" And what do you think that did to me as a child? Was that good? It made me work harder to always get 100% A student, but was I fulfilled? No. You have to remove those expectations of what other people have for you. Expect great things from yourself and do it for you because that's when true fulfillment comes. So, if you're struggling with confidence, this is a tip that you can use. Again, I was sharing a couple more on the other slide, but it's very important to identify what self-limiting beliefs do you hold about yourself. What self-limiting beliefs do you hold about yourself? So, for example, this could be a thought that, oh, I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not handsome enough or pretty enough or slim enough or thick enough. Whatever that may be, that comment, you know what it is. It's been in your head, that cycle, that negative cycle. Those are self-limiting beliefs. Or maybe somebody told you something when you were younger growing up that you held on to. Somehow that has attached itself to you, that fear of failure, whatever it may be. And so you have to really key be aware. Awareness is key. Be aware of, hey, wait a minute. Huh. I remember that this happened to me growing up, and that actually is the reason why I feel like I don't engage with people the way I should probably engage, or I don't really push myself as hard as I should, or I give up before I even start. Once you're able to identify your self-limiting beliefs, You'll be super clear on what you need to do to overcome them. And a key part of that is just being honest with yourself and saying, you know what? I love me for me. And I had to get to that point, I'm like, I love me for me. I don't really care. I used to care a lot about what other people thought. And once I was able to let that go, I felt free because I had no more the expectation of the world or my parents on my shoulder. Was like, Natasha, at the end of this world, and we're gonna talk about legacy. What do I want to look back and be like, hey girl, I'm so proud of you because you did this. You stepped out in faith. You have to get to a point in your life where you say, you know what? Nobody defines me. I will not give anybody that power to define who I am and who I'm going to become. Today is my day to rise up and be who God called me to be. And once you develop that mindset, because confidence is a mindset, your life will take on greater meaning. I mean, doors will open and you may even face more challenges because now you're walking and owning your greatness. But that again, those challenges come to purge you. Those challenges come to strengthen you. Those challenges come to show you something about yourself. And more importantly, those challenges can come to elevate you to the next level. So whoever may hear this, don't give up. If the journey's getting tough, that means you're really close to where you need to be. And once you get there again, trust me, the journey continues. The next level and the next level won't be easy as the last level, right? So trust the process. Confidence is critical to your success. So I've been talking a lot about mindset in the form of confidence. It's a muscle. So how many times do we say, let's just use this as an example. It's now January. We're going to get in the best shape of our lives. We're going to go to the gym. We're going to be healthy. We're going to eat healthier, whatever it may be. But you have that old mindset. What happens? Literally, you start talking yourself out of the potential that you could actually eat healthier or go to the gym or get more sleep or achieve that big goal, start that successful business or go back to school or pay off your debt or raise funds for an event. Who knows what it could be? You start talking yourself out of it before it even happens. And so it's so important to develop a new mindset. I consider this like a positive mindset. And no, it's not easy. It is not easy. When I quit my corporate job, like I did what I was supposed to do, get the six-figure job, go to school, get the degree, have the house. And I wasn't like, oh, something's missing. I knew that I had to do more. I knew that my life was not to be sitting doing desk work, so to speak. I knew that I wanted to do something greater. And I was so afraid. And for those of you who believe in God, worry. What is worry? Worry is saying that you don't trust God. Worry is saying, I don't trust you, God. But when you can walk in confidence, when you can walk in faith, that means you're saying, God, I trust you. And because I trust you, Lord, I know I'm going to be okay. No matter what may come my way, I trust you. So I'm not going to worry. That's the mindset I want us to have. And that's the mindset that took me about 90 days to really build. Because there was a time when I quit my corporate, I was a single mom at the time. I had mortgages to pay, two mortgages at the time. I had my car note. I had at that time, thankfully I was, didn't really have much debt, but I'm like, debt can accumulate quick. You just quit your job. I had to say to myself, what did you do, girl? What the heck did you do? Like I started to like really panic because I got into the state of you had it so good, right? And I had to remind myself the why beneath your why. Like, yeah, I had the great career, the corporate career, but I wasn't fulfilled. So how can I take those skill sets, communications, PR, communication, bottle it up with the motivation? I went back to school. I studied how to be a certified motivational speaker. I went back then and became a international certified health and life coach. I started to really build myself up to say, hey, with a new mindset, I could achieve new results. And so can you. So I want to encourage you to say, old thinking will only get you the same results. Encourage yourself to think bigger, to think bigger than yourself, to think grand, to think, hey, if I really want this, for realizing why I actually want this, because that's going to be your driving factor. Not that I just want to be a billionaire or a millionaire just to have money, because when you get the money, then what? Be fulfilled on the journey to get the money. Be fulfilled in what you do, and the money will come. I guarantee you. Be purpose driven, the money will flow, the money will come. And it's so important to be focused. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that because if you're not and you're wavering, it's like in the Bible, God says he cannot bless a wavering man. And I look at it like if you're jumping from here to here, how can you get the blessings that are falling down on you? No, because you're jumping. So you got to be so focused on this is what I want. This is what I'm working toward. This is my purpose. I believe it. And this is the direction I'm going. And that's going to save you a lot of time, money, and resources. Honestly, a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of resources. I wish if I could talk to my younger self. Oh, and I look at my little daughter, and she is my younger self, and I'm gonna do everything within my ability to allow her to be herself, but to culture and the things that I knew I wish I could have done differently growing up. And the funny thing is, this is the cutest thing she told me a couple days ago. So I put up this video. I was I was singing on the video. I'm not a singer, but I love to sing. And I made the video and I was singing this line and I listened to after the video after I'm like, oh my gosh, can I actually put this video out? I don't sound good. And I had her listen to Natal because she likes to watch my videos, something that I listen to, the stuff I put out. And she said, Mom, but that's your true self. I could have cried literally. Mom, but that's your true self. You just said you love to sing, so who cares how you sound? Put it out. For me, honestly, as a parent, my heart was just so overjoyed because it really allowed me to see that she's paying attention to what I'm doing, how I'm living, what I'm saying. And the fact that she said, "But that's your true self, Mom. Put it out." And I did. And that's a part of being vulnerable. Vulnerability, it's something I've definitely been working on, is opening up more, sharing more of my struggles, sharing more of my challenges, because that's what you need to hear. You don't need to hear about my successes. You need to hear about how I overcame my struggle to gain that success. And that's my desire. And that's my goal for 2022, is to share more candid, more stories about real life things and things I'm working on. So stay tuned. But be your true self, be your authentic self, and don't be afraid to share that with the world because that's actually what's going to connect you. Sometimes you'll say, "Oh, girl, why you always like to wear blazers?" Because that's just me. I just love it. That's just who I am. It's just always been me. It's a part of who I am. And why should I change my dress code to appease anybody else? No. If you like to rock your sweater and your jeans and that's your thing and your trend, do that. When it comes to an interview, of course, you may want to change it up. But one thing I thought too, I would definitely wear my blazers, and I've done it with jeans and runners. Why not? Still corporate, still fresh, still professional, so we can still play it up. Now I'm going into fashion. Let me stop. Okay, anyway, digressing. All right, so we're almost to the end of the presentation, and I really hope that this is transformative for you. When I do speak or present, I ask you a lot of questions. And you know why? It's not to overwhelm you, it's because I want you to start thinking. Transformation comes from really digging deep within yourself and asking yourself those tough questions. Who am I living for? Who am I living for? Am I living for my father or my mother or my spouse? Or am I living for God and for me? And I had to decide I want to live for God and I want God to live through me in the sense that I know my purpose. I want to discover my God given purpose and I want to use that purpose to give back. And then I had this thought the other day. I was like, imagine if everybody was using their gifts that they were given through God. Imagine how amazing this world would be. Imagine how much less crime we'd have, less strife, less crime, killing, murders, less poverty, because we are the hands and the feet. We are God in the sense. God, I don't want to quote myself or misquote myself the wrong way, but I believe that I'm a Christian, so I believe that God came, sent His Son Jesus Christ for us, died in the sins, and I'm not turning this into a biblical or anything like that, but God lives within us and around us, so we are the hands and the feet, right? God's wisdom, He shares that through us, so if we're not doing anything with it, nothing changes. But if we are doing something great with it, then can you imagine what great things will happen in this world? And so I do believe that God has given us that ability because He says, "So a man thinketh, so is he." He says He hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of confidence, and of sound mind. There's so many things I could think that really show me that if you connect to the source, you'll be unstoppable. I believe at times when we think we can do things on our own and everything on our own, that's when we get burnt out. So be stronger than your excuses. A lot of times I talk about consistency. And yes, things happen and you're able to probably not move forward on specific, for example, let's say you got injured. I'm going to talk about this in resiliency, but I got injured in the fall of September. I was so keen on working out and having my regime, and I just loved it because it really set my stage for my mindset. And when I had this horrible injury, my neck, my back, my shoulder, my hip, like I was like, yo, you're not allowed to work out. You got to just sort of relax, slow down. For the last 4 months, I almost start to forget like who I was in a sense because I felt I can't even put it into words. I felt frustrated. I felt like I was failing myself. I felt like all the progress I was making was just going down the drain. I was just having an array of emotions. It's like I was literally forgetting who MBR was. And it was like one day I was laying there and I was just praying. Like I was like, okay, go lay down, try and rest, slow down, like they say, And I was like, I heard this voice like, "Get up, girl. Get up and go down and do a little something, even if it's not a lot. Something is better than nothing." So be stronger than your excuses. And then this week, finally, I got the go ahead from my physiotherapist. Last week, I could start the gym back. So I've started the gym back this week, and I can't tell you how amazing I feel. Like mentally, I'm stronger. I feel like myself again. And so you got to find what works for you. But I do believe you need to have some level of physical activity to keep your mind right. So, how do you maintain consistency? You commit to you. Commit to you. Make a date with yourself and keep it. If you don't, you're going to end up saying, wait a minute, I can't keep promising myself. I'm not honoring myself. It's going to make it hard for you to do all the great things that you know you want to do and destined to do. So, consistency, you got to be consistent. You got to take action. Things happen, yes, but don't let that stop you. Get up and go again. And that's what I talk about execution. You have to have a strategy. So, when you write down your goals, you got to execute, because if you don't execute, then nothing happens. One baby step at a time. Smaller steps lead to bigger steps. So don't be hard on yourself in regards to have to achieve it all. But no, one step will lead to a bigger step. So execute. And I also believe it's so important to evaluate your plan regularly. Because once you evaluate your plan, you'll be able to see what's working well, what's not. And depending on the strategy, it could be for your business or it could be for your personal, your professional level, professional goals. You may want to evaluate monthly or quarterly or biweekly, but evaluate regularly so you can figure out, how do I adjust to make sure I find something that works for me. Last but not least, I want to wrap up in talking about resiliency. I think all of us are going through this in some shape or form. How do we overcome all these challenges, these difficulties? You know, COVID. No matter where you are in the world, we have all been affected to some degree. So our ability to recover quickly from abilities comes from us knowing our strength, from us having that positive mindset, from us not worrying about tomorrow, but being present in the moment, about us knowing who we really are and where our faith is. The ability to walk in faith and not in fear. To walk in faith and not in fear. That, I believe, is what helps us to become resilient, to be able to walk in faith and not in fear. So ask yourself, am I resilient? And if you look deeper, then I'm sure there's been so many things that you've been through that you've had to overcome, that you're like, wow, wait a minute, I overcame that. Remind yourself that you can overcome this too as well. Know who you are. Once you're able to develop a stronger mindset, you'll become more resilient. And one way to do that is, I call it using an anchor. So every time you have a negative thought, replace it instantly with a positive one. Whether it be, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, or be the change in the world I want to see, or I am the change, whatever it may be. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Whatever that thing is that was going to trip your mind from thinking negative, because your mind is, whatever, everything we do is based on habit. So if you have a habit to think negatively, it's a habit. I want you to develop that habit to think positively. And you do that through your thoughts, because your thoughts are so powerful. So wrapping up, I want you to know that you are the success story. I talked about I am in the beginning, right? The power of I am, affirming yourself. You have to say, I am the success story. You have to believe it. Whatever you're praying for, hoping for, wanting to achieve success according to your standards, you have to believe that you already have succeeded. You have to believe that you already succeeded and you're just walking it out. You're just walking it out. You have to believe that you've already succeeded, that you are just walking it out. I am the success story. Repeat it to yourself, because you have to believe it. Honestly, you have to believe it to achieve it. You got to know that you are. You are that success story. And that doesn't matter what nobody says about you. It doesn't matter about anything around you, but it matters about what you think. Do you believe you can have it? You are the success story. So to wrap it up, I want you to know, be confident, leaders. Be confident. Be bold. Be fearless. Be you. Be confident who God created you to be. Be bold enough to own your greatness and your uniqueness. Be fearless enough to pursue what sets your soul on fire. But more importantly, be you, because there's nobody else in this world like you. And trust and believe, leaders, no matter what you're going through right now, the very best is yet to come. So I want to just invite you, if you're looking to work with a transformation coach like myself, I really, my key strategies are really based on helping you to build your confidence, discover your clarity, discover your God-given purpose, and then giving you a strategy, a customized strategy to help you achieve your goals in your business on a personal level, professional level. And so if you want to work with a coach like me, I would love to invite you to book a chat. Or if you're looking for a speaker to come and speak to your employees or your school or one of your events, I love to speak on, like I said, confidence, strategic planning. Doesn't sound so sexy, but it really is. Um, Transforming your health from a mindset perspective and strategize for your success, which you just been through. Visit natashabrussell.com and there's a 30-minute free chat slot. Book some time with me and let's get connected. Everything begins with the vision, but then you got to have a strategy and you got to take action. So let's stay connected. For those of you who are already on LinkedIn, or if you're watching me on YouTube, hey YouTube, hi Facebook, hi LinkedIn, let's stay connected. I would love to connect with you. I'm also on Instagram, and I also have a Facebook personal, but I'd like to invite you to my Facebook page, and I look forward to staying connected. So if there's anything else I want to just say to you all out there is know who you are. Know who you are. Once you know who you are, and you're leading again your life with purpose, with confidence and clarity, your life takes on greater meaning, and you become someone that you didn't even know you had the ability to become, and you continue to become someone greater. Why? Because you now know why you exist, you're confident in who you are, and you're clear about where you're going. Thank you so much for spending this last almost 58 minutes with me. It was an hour presentation. I really appreciate this time to be in your space. Maybe you're watching from your home or wherever you're in your car and your cell phone. I really appreciate this time to be with you. And I hope that you've took something away today that can help you achieve your goals and dreams one step at a time. Again, my name is Natasha Russell, aka NBR, aka Mrs. Darby, and I look forward to staying connected with you all. My next seminar will be Communicate with Confidence, scheduled for next month. I believe it's February 26th. I have to look at my calendar. It's going to be on a Wednesday. Why not? I have a calendar right here. um, February 23rd. So stay tuned for that. Hold the date. I'll be right back here live and I'll be talking about how to communicate, because communication is key, verbally and non-verbally, to achieving your goals and your dreams. Again, thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe.